that comment over here as well. Create, highlight, retouch, mute, flip. Where do I get to see the chat? Where do I get to leave a comment? Start a poll. No, I don't want to do that. I want to see the chat at least, y'all. Let me see. Chat filter, community moderation. I don't know. Maybe it'll just show up on screen like it does on this platform. But anyway, I'm going live on this Saturday afternoon to talk about this particular piece and the process of creating it. Yeah, I'm adjusting angles. Give me a second. Maybe if I move this over here like that, like so. That seems better. Yeah, screen. Yeah. Artists, holler if you feel me. Do you ever get into that thing where you're practicing or making your work, whatever, and you feel like a goblin, like just hunched over, and I make my art and then I feed my body and then I go and make my art? And there's sometimes in goblin state where I'm like feeling the isolation. And I know that that is one story about how white folks have done art and created art, but that is not how my folks ancestrally have created art. There's usually been a community to create art with, and for, and artisanal objects that get threaded into like everyday mundane beauty, you know? Don't start me, y'all. This is my Capricorn second house talking. There are so many of the old ways that I feel like we have lost. Anyway. But yeah, one of the old ways is that we get to like celebrate our work. We don't have to get all caught up in just constantly churning it out, making it, doing productivity, keeping busy, always on a goddamn move. Like, where are the moments of pause to consider what you've made? The moments of pause to be like, ooh, what did I enjoy about this process? Because you're not just making the stuff because you want products. You're not a machine. You're making the stuff because you're trying to find out something. You're trying to interrogate some kind of meaning. You're trying to, I don't know, achieve something other than quantitative achievement. But that's me being on my soapbox. Whatever. But yeah, I have spent the last couple of months creating this piece. This is a portrait of one of my social media mutuals. Their name is BlackDaria113. Shout out to them. I don't know if folks know this, but yeah, as a Black, queer, autistic person surviving capitalism, I am often having to emergency fundraise to be able to pay the rent, And so one of my emergency fundraising strategies has been to do raffles for the portraits that I create, because I've just gotten into oil painting in this last year or so. So I figure as I'm practicing anyway, I can provide an opportunity for my communities to get access to low-cost art. $20 a ticket, right? You can get a custom portrait made for $20. Oil painted portrait that takes months to do. That's pretty exciting. So yeah, it's a point of access. It's also a place for me to allow myself to be compensated for the practice that I'm doing and what I'm learning in terms of the oil painting process. So yeah, with each one, I just try out new techniques. The last couple ones have been experiments in understanding the ways that layers of color interact with each other. So paint layers. And so in this one, I got really excited to, and I'm always like concerned with like, what is the light doing? Where's the contrast between light and shadow? So on this one, I got really excited to play with the idea of glowing in the darkness. So let me show you. Ooh, maybe I could do that thing. Hold on. I'm gonna be like this. Okay. And then I'm gonna be like, oh. Right? I wish these devices were closer to each other. Hold on, let me make that happen. I've got so many canvases prepped for upcoming projects. They're all over the place. And I just did a studio reset and things are messy again. How does that happen? Is someone breaking into my studio and creating chaos? Is that someone me? Okay. Can we get more on the same page here? Yes. Okay. Okay. So there's a bit of a glare because it's oil paint, right? But I'm gonna do a little bit of shifting in these ways so you can see what's happening. So what I mean with this glowing in the darkness kind of vibe is that I knew that I wanted to the values to be similar. She's a medium brown skinned person. This is a medium to dark background, dark hair. The top is a quite vibrant color, but yeah, that darker value. And then in terms of incorporating light into the thing, I really thought about the idea of playing with her makeup. Because this is a, do I have the reference image? Hold on. Oh, Jesus. Okay, calm down. Here it is, yeah. This is a studio shot. It's also images that are a composite. So this is from her neck down is from a casual shot. And then the face and the braids are from a studio photo shoot that she did. So her makeup is like a little bit more glam than natural. And you can see that she's got like shimmery eyeshadows and her highlights are shimmery. The lips have a slight shimmeriness to them. And I have this gold paint that I've been trying to play with. And I thought the shimmer in her makeup, but also her gorgeous like brown, pecan brown skin could really hold the contrast of that gold. So I did a underpainting that was more green tones. I learned that that is called a verdaccio, and I wanted to try that out. And then the overpainting, the brown layers are interacting with that green layer. I did lots of like magenta browns, rose browns, that kind of thing to give a sense of like blood flow. And I think that the magenta is interacting with the verdaccio green to create a kind of neutral brown, if that makes any sense. Hey JC, thanks for stopping by. But yeah, so that I think is one thing. And then yeah, the golds, after I did my verdaccio layer, all of the major highlights, so the gold eyeshadow, the forehead highlight, the eyebrow highlight, the cheekbones, the nose, the lips, all of those have gold applied and then layers of brown on top of them. So the gold is catching light, that light is bouncing through layers of magenta, rose, browns in the highlighted areas, and in the shadows they are purple, blue informed browns, cooler toned browns. Anyway, so yeah, I'm trying to practice color theory, how colors are interacting with each other in layers across a painting. That's not what I meant. In layers across whatever the hell. Anyway. So yeah, like I said, this is a person who won for the month of July. And I think I am, yeah, I think I just finished this September, mid-September. Today is September 20th, but I finished it a few days ago. I'm gonna allow it to dry for at least 2 weeks. It's touch dry right now, but I want to dry for 2 weeks, do a varnish, dry for one more week, and then mail it. So yeah, that's where I am with this. Is there anything else that I want to talk about? Wanted to play with the underpainting layer, changing the color of it, glazes of color, shadow and light, golds. Yeah. So I feel incredibly successful with my experiments in color theory for this. But where I don't feel successful is I didn't choose / create a good reference picture. And I want to go back to that. So, like I said, this is a composite image, a candid image, studio image. They don't exactly agree on the light source, and I kept getting confused by that. Because this is a studio photograph image, it is lit in such a way to create the best 2D image. But what painters like, or what I like, is a lot of shadow and contrast that photographers don't like, because that shadow and contrast gives a sense of 3-dimensionality. So I feel like I wanted to play with highlighting with gold and having that pop forward, but it was an uphill battle because I chose a very flat, 2-dimensionally lit reference image, at least for the main body. And so as gorgeous as her face is in this image, you can see there's not a lot of shadow. Let me see if I can find one that shows a lot of shadow in the face. For some reason, I've been saving all of my reference images. Okay, look at this. This is Audre Lorde. See this deep shadow here across the eye, here underneath. I think it's distracting if you're a professional photographer, but as a painter, that's the stuff that I find interesting, and I kind of even want this to be more pronounced, more dramatic. I remember creating this reference image and really bumping up the contrast to try and get more of that shadow or whatever. But yeah, the painting that I made with this, the eyes were particularly interesting because of this shadow here and right in here. And so yeah, this is, instead of being lit directly in front to create a 2-dimensional image, out of a 3-dimensional human, right? This has been slightly lit from above and maybe even slightly either in line with the head or slightly behind most of the head to create that strong shadow. And that's the kind of thing that makes a really good reference image for a portrait, but once again, not great for a photographer. I think that's antithetical to what a photographer's job is. This is another one that's okay. I like the strong nose shadows here and here, but we could use much more around the eyes. Yeah. At any rate, so yeah, I feel like I feel like my painting was an uphill battle because I started with a not great reference image, and it was this particular session that I was like, dang, I really need models. I really need models, and I know exactly who I want to see and who I want to paint. I want to sexually objectify studs. Is that what I mean? That's not what I mean. I mean, I want to appreciate them. No, that's not what I mean. I think that there's a lot of art that is rooted in the male gaze, even. Oh, hey! Welcome, hey boo. Wait, let me complete this thought and then I want to greet you properly. But yeah, I think that there's a lot of art, particularly portrait art that is painted in the medium of oil that is very much like rooted in the male gaze, even when it's like created by non-male artists. And I want to play with that, but the people that I like to look at are mask of center queer, black queer and trans people. And so that's what I mean by, oh, I want to objectify studs. I think that that's a shorthand way of saying that is what I like to look at. And if we're looking at the body as a site of getting our eyes fed, that's the meal that I want to eat. I don't want white bread when I can have delicious black, brown, queer, trans magic. Anyway, that's completing that thought. Pat, are you still here? I have not listened to your voice note because I'm on live. But welcome and thanks for stopping by. For as long as you're able to be here, I just love people filtering in and out as they love to be here and have capacity to be here. So yeah, that is everything that I can. Wait, let me think about it. So we talked about the parts that I felt like were successful with the colors and the layers and the glowing. We talked about not feeling so successful in the reference image choices. I want to have a third metric. Oh, of course, the process. Okay, so look. A nigga gotta survive capitalism, but I'm recognizing that this process is much slower. Between Yumi and Jeebus, I can't pay my rent, and I'm trying to hustle these holiday portraits, and I'm telling people that I can create and mail a portrait for you by December 8th if you get your order into me by October 1st. And I think that it's possible, but the drying is what really, really fucks with me. And so I'm really aware of how much work I need to do, when I need to do it, what kind of work plans I need to create in order to pull this off. I think I can do it. It's just, will humidity be in my favor? And the damn Bay Area is experiencing a dang humidity, whatever the hell you call it, for the first time in 20 years, which is interesting. But yeah, so that's the thing that I'm recognizing. So it's September 20 now. We're just before October. In the months of October and December, I've got 2 commissions. I know. The drying takes so long. I wish I could paint in acrylic. I don't have that skill. And I don't like the way that it smells. It's a sensory nightmare for me. But God, what would it be like to have a painting dry in 2 or 3 days instead of 2 or 3 months? Yeah. I was talking about how this is touch dry. And what I mean by touch dry is I could handle it very lightly to move it from place to place. But were I to linger with my fingertips, there would be a discoloration. I might even pull up a layer of paint because the layers of paint are so thin. And so I'm not pressing, I'm just gently moving. And also you'll see me handling this painting more in this region because I have started doing a acrylic background and then oil painted foreground so that I can handle my paintings because I was really experiencing a lot of mess But yeah. Oops. Oh yeah, this was also an interesting thing. This is what I like about commissions is you get to talk to, oh hey, welcome Samantha. Thanks for popping by for a second. I appreciate you. Um, but yeah, this is what I was gonna say about commissions is that when somebody actually is curious about art and wants to like be in conversation with you as you're creating, it's such an interesting process. She wanted to have, this is her birthday, 113, in one of her beads, and then these are some beloved folks' initials. What are they? FM and TJ? FM and TJ here, and then their birthday. And that was, I thought that was really cool. Yeah. Um. Oh, so yeah, I was saying about next steps. Next steps. Drying 2 weeks, varnish 1 day, let it dry for at least another week, get it in the mail, hopefully before like maybe October 15th. Then I have 2 commissions. I've prepped my canvases. Yeah. And then I've got one painting that I just want to paint for fun, a landscape. That's new. And then I have 2 raffles paintings that I need to paint. So 5 before the end of the year. I'm down to take on more commissions. By the way, check out my website, vaginajenkins.com. I'm running a special right now where you can get 10% off if you book your oil painted portrait commission before October 1st, because dry time. But yeah, I can take on a few more commissions, but I cannot take on any more just fun, creative, fun work. And if I take on any more of the rent raffle portraits, it's going to have to be after the month of October because I just can't in the next 30 days. Limited capacity, knowing our capacity, loving ourselves through our capacity, creating access for ourselves and our own goddamn lives, nigga. Yeah. That's everything I have to say on the matter. I appreciate you all for stopping by. Thank you for being a part of my beloved community. Thank you for celebrating this moment of completion, learning, triumph. I don't know. Some part in the process. Thank you for being part of my process and for taking this little moment. We love a moment to be still and appreciate what we've done before we start doing. Goddamn doing. All right. I appreciate and love you all. I'll see you on the next live. Smell you later. Bye.